5 of the manhunt for Joshua Zimmerman escaped from DeSoto County Courthouse on June 14th. He was last seen in Memphis, Tennessee on June 15th. He hasn't been seen in 55 days. And here's what we know right now. They're going to be adding a lot of cities to this list. The thing is, there are 2 scenarios at play with Zimmerman, and I guess it's best to hit them both. The first scenario is he's in DeSoto County or Memphis and DeSoto, and they'll get him, right? The second theory is he boarded a bus. And if that's the case, we are a little behind. So when I say we, I mean not the government, but we're behind, I guess. So he could be in certain regions. I'm trying to tiptoe around without getting too far into it. But again, guys, if you're in Memphis, obviously remain on the lookout. It's very possible he's there, but we need to start preparing for the fact that he made it elsewhere. Again, he's on death row, and he's going to try to get to Canada. If he goes to Texas, we want to get him to Texas. He wants to go to Canada or Mexico. It's believed that he's going to be heading toward Canada right now. So with this week, it's only Tuesday, so this week, or even if it's Wednesday, we should, by Friday, we should hear back from Interpol. And what Interpol does is they get involved when it starts to mess with the border. And this manhunt has the best possibility of going to the border, right? If he stays in the U.S., he's going to be put to death. If he goes to Mexico or Canada, he's going to get to start over as a farmer and then start his cross-dressing, cross-country spree killing again. But that's his goal, is to get away. But also, that goal comes with a big price, because if he doesn't get away, he is going to go out with a bang. And what that means is he already made clear, turn off this timer, that people are going to die, right? People are going to die. He's not going back to prison. People will die. And a very specific number of people is what he was saying, according to his family. So you have that. You have the prearranged funeral, crazy stuff that they had said before too, and now you have a guy that you haven't seen in 55 days. Problem is, if he is not being helped, and that's why I keep trying to get the streets involved. If the streets are not helping him, that means that that's one of 2 other possibilities. He's still in Memphis holding a family hostage, or he's at a vacant home that's for sale. So if you're a realtor out in that area, and that goes right back into DeSoto then. So the places that he would hide is in, see who's coming in, who's coming out. So vacant homes that are for sale, they should be looked at with extreme suspicion, just in case. But if Zimmerman does not have gang help in Memphis, that means that he has a family hostage. That means that he has somebody hostage. Maybe it's a person that doesn't have much family to call and report them missing. But that is the only other scenario if he's in Memphis, because he's not outside, okay? That's not happening. He's not outside. If he left the region, which is a possibility, that would have been anywhere from July 4th and up until, at the latest, July 15th, he would have been in North Carolina. That's a lead that's being pursued, but that's if he left Memphis. Now, they're still pursuing that lead just in case he did, to make sure that it's not him, but it's possible that it was, so they're chasing that. And that's where Raleigh, North Carolina comes in, because that's where that came up. If he left Memphis, he made it to North Carolina he left North Carolina no later than July 15th at sometime in the early morning hours. And that was heading toward Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., right? With the first stop at Richmond, Virginia, and the individual didn't get off. So if that was Zimmerman, made it to the East Coast on July 16th. By July 16th, he would have been on the East Coast, and he'd be hunkered down in another city, perhaps New York City. Washington, D.C. is heavily getting on that radar very rapidly. The Capitol Police are getting involved, so that is obvious about Washington, D.C. being a potential region. So if you live in Washington, D.C., be on the lookout. It's very possible that Zimmerman, if he left Memphis and took that route, that he stopped in D.C. and might have stayed there. Now, if he didn't stay there, he would have taken another bus. And again, guys, if he's going toward Canada, he's going to keep going to upstate New York, toward Vermont, places like that, right? So, again, it's very likely that he's still in Memphis. But if he's not, that means he left between July 4th and a date before July 4th, or on July 4th or after, made it to Raleigh, North Carolina, and left North Carolina on July 15th in the early morning hours on a bus toward Washington, D.C. That is if it pans out to be him, right? We saw this before. There are always leads that come in. They are chasing them, but they are set on this one as a backup in case he's not in Memphis. So they're pursuing that heavily. They're searching surveillance at every stop on every one of those routes as far back as they can go. That's the problem. We are in August. Bus ride, July. Problem because surveillance doesn't last 30 days, right? So again, if he left Memphis, that's why we're saying be on the lookout in the other regions. They're not random areas. Those are areas that are linked either directly to Zimmerman through victims that he has promised to come back and kill. That being Broward County, Florida. Be on the lookout because he has promised to come back and victimize your area. He wants to kill a girl there. He wants to kidnap her probably again. He already tattooed his name on her neck. So what else is left? He just has to take her now, rape, and shoot because he did the tattoo part for her. So Florida, you guys have heavy ties to Zimmerman. Clearwater, Florida, you guys have ties to Zimmerman. Orlando, Florida, you have ties to Zimmerman. Fort Lauderdale, you have ties to Zimmerman. Mobile, Alabama, you have ties to Zimmerman. It goes on and on. Everywhere from Louisville, Kentucky. Everywhere that we listed, it's not just a tie, but it's also a tie where he is likely to return and at least visit, similar to Cavalcante, the way he went to his sister and his accomplices. Those are the ties in those areas, right? So as far as Connecticut, if he gets there, expect a bloodbath. He is going to kill, and he is going to get killed. The police are going to blow his head off so quick if he tries anything slick. They know what he's capable of. That's if he gets to Connecticut. Realistically, he's trying to go to Canada. So if you are in New York and any of those other cities that we mentioned that are big Greyhound hubs, he wouldn't have come from Memphis, Tennessee to New York, okay? He wouldn't have come from any of those areas to New York. He has ties heavily that are on the East Coast and that sprinkle all the way to Mississippi and that Memphis region, all right? So when you have a network like that, it becomes a problem because of resources. The people that are helping him, you guys have to understand that every day that goes by, the more units that get involved, we're not talking about cop cars, the more federal agencies that get involved, the more local municipalities that get involved, the more time you're getting. Say they find out that he's actually in Iowa, right? And that was off the radar. If he's in an apartment, the neighbors are going to jail too until they figure out why nobody called. That's the point they're at. They don't care if you helped them or if you didn't. You're going to get locked up if you are in the area. They're going to pull the guilty by association on you. Again, we're dealing with a spree killer who is out to rape, kidnap, and murder men and women. He's held kids up as a human shield. He has a charge for that in Connecticut. Look it up. He has a charge for beating the elderly in Connecticut. You can see that as well. All of his crimes started in Connecticut, and he might circle back and finish in Connecticut, which is why it's important. We can't forget that he had a fascination with Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook sicko, the guy the school shooter who went into an elementary school. I mean, it's the sickest stuff you can think of, and that's the kind of stuff that Zimmerman is fascinated by. Why does he want to go back to Connecticut? Why is he fascinated by Adam Lanza and that Cruz guy from Parkland? Why? And what's interesting is the fact that he has ties to Florida, ties to Connecticut, and he likes the most heinous crimes of the century that happened there. You know, that's a little fishy, especially when the dude is raping, killing, kidnapping on his own. Maybe he's not killing children by the troves yet. That's the thing. The big word is yet. Hopefully he doesn't go to Disney and do something stupid, because that's the kind of guy we are dealing with. If he gets to Disney, Mickey, watch out and grab your machine gun, because you're going to need to pop this guy's head off. He's not going to come there to ride the Ferris wheel. He's going to come there to blow it up. The guy is a nut job. He is a murderer, and he is on the loose, and there is not many people know. He could be walking around Disney World dressed up as Minnie Mouse with a little bit of face paint on. And it's day 55, and I'm going to hop right back where we left off. which is Disney World. If he gets to Disney World, we have a problem. He's not going to go there to go on the rides. He's going to go there to give you guys a ride of a lifetime. And for some of you, it's going to be the last ride of your lifetime. Zimmerman is a monster. He's not your average murderer. He's not your average escapee. Everybody says the same thing when it comes to him. Sorry, my mouth is dry. But at the end of the day, he's not your average escapee by any means. He's not your average criminal. He doesn't really care who you are. He's going to kill you. He doesn't care if you're a kid, if you're a woman. He doesn't care if you are gay, straight, because he is a cross-dresser too. So he doesn't discriminate. But the thing is, if he gets to Disney World, I'm hoping Disney, I know Disney is on the lookout as far as their security, and they have probably better security. Disney has better, Mickey Mouse's police force is way better than DeSoto County Sheriff. I'll give him that. So I feel better with Disney police being on the lookout. But he has heavy ties in that area. I'm not saying he's going there, but yes, if he wants to go out with a bang, he's close to Orlando. He's going to make that left, go in, pop, we have a problem. Again, be on the lookout for Zimmerman in Florida. That doesn't mean lower your guard in Mississippi or Tennessee. If anything, raise it, because now he's going to make a move. If he hasn't, he has to make it soon. His funds are running out. His friends are getting arrested. His circle is getting devoured. His money, what money? It's getting cut in every direction. The guy is everybody that touches him knows the consequences to come. I'll put it that way. So if you see something, say something. This is no longer a manhunt in Mississippi or Tennessee. And honestly, it's not even a multi-state manhunt. It is slowly becoming a national manhunt, with the exception of Texas is going to be the only state that survives the list if he's not caught by September, right? Which is just not going to happen, because I don't see myself here in September saying, okay, guys, we're on day 100. That's just not what we do. He's going to get caught. It's going to happen. He got away last time because nobody was on top of it. And I'm not saying that going live on social media does anything, but I am saying when you have Dog the Bounty Hunter making phone calls every single day to people that you didn't even would think he would, the most random government entities, they're going to find this guy, and they're going to find him before anybody else. That's the last thing they want. So I can tell you that they are heavily involved. They being the federal government, they have allocated so many departments to this thing. It's unreal. Dog the Bounty Hunter has also donated a lot of resources to help the federal officials with manpower time, right? To do small tasks, to find just little leads. Nothing that they ask for, but information that Dog's team has been doing for years. They're doing free of charge and getting good information right over to agents that are on the case, with the marshals that are chasing the escapee. So it's not about television. It's not about fame for Dog. No, he wants to do what he does best and catch people. And if he can lend resources and it helps, he said 100% he's down. And thank you for that, because it's working. So you have phone calls every day coming from us, coming from Dog, coming from others, to multiple agencies. That's the difference between this time and last time for Zimmerman. He's going to get caught. When we get on a manhunt, we don't get on it and then ditch it and come back 7 months later hoping the guy got caught. No. Every single day until you are captured, Zimmerman, you're going to see my face, unfortunately, and I'm going to have to hear. I'm getting tired of saying the name. I don't go live unless there's an escaped killer on the loose, and here we are, and there's a killer on the loose. So again, guys, lock your doors, secure your vehicles, because we don't know where the hell this guy is. If he is in Connecticut and you see him and you don't have a gun, don't do anything. Keep walking, call the cops when you get further away. If he has a gun, you shoot him, because he shouldn't have a gun. He's an escaped prisoner, and you should be licensed to whatever the laws are in your area, whatever, But he's a escaped prisoner, death row inmate. If he's armed, you pop him. No questions asked, because he's already killed. He's going to kill you very quick, because he's on death row. You're not going to get him a second death sentence, you idiot. You know what I mean? So if you hit him, you got to hit him good. No BS, because he will kill you. He will run. And honestly, if you shoot him in the legs, he might still try to rape you. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with. So if you see something, say something, stay safe, remain vigilant. Florida, Connecticut, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Georgia, be on the lookout. Also, Mobile, Alabama, begin being on the lookout. Washington, D.C., Richmond, Virginia. Richmond, you're good. So Washington, D.C., be on the lookout. Philadelphia is slowly going to get that be on the lookout thing. We're trying to figure out see, the bus went 2 stops, Philly or DC. So that's, again, Philadelphia, be on the lookout. DC, be on the lookout. And we're not saying it's confirmed to be him. This is plan B. If it's not him, that means he was in those areas on the week of July 15th, about, 20 some days ago. So obviously that could have changed. So if you're in another city and you see somebody, please DM me or send a tip to the marshals. They need tips. They don't care if they come from Maine. Don't send fake tips. But if you see them in Maine, send a picture, send something. They're going to check it out because they need to know if he's in Maine, if he's in Vermont, if he's in Rhode Island, if he's in New York. They need to know. And keep in mind, he's a snitch. If you are in a gang, he's going to take your drugs and then rat on you. That's what he's doing. That's what he's done since 2017. If you have any friends in Waterbury, Connecticut that have been arrested that are gang members in 2017 up until 21, Joshua Zimmerman, he was a confidential informant for authorities out there. He was building cases and lying on people to get essentially better time for him, good time. So he was raping women, kidnapping them, and then turning in Latin Kings. He was snitching and doing controlled buys and stuff like that and sales to get Latin Kings caught up and in a pinch. So Zimmerman, if he does that to the Kings in his hometown, you think he's not going to rip off somebody in Memphis, dude? If you're with him, he is going to rip you off. And if you think you can overpower him when you're taking a nap, he's going to shoot you in the neck like he did the other dude. Not rocket science. You're dealing with a killer. Next week, you get to go to breakfast. Next week, he might be going to Texas to get the chair and his last breakfast, That's a difference. So if you see something, stay safe, stay vigilant. I'll be back if there are any updates. I say that every day, but there are never any updates. So if you see me come back, usually hop on because there should be an update, But I'll talk to you guys.